Today's topic of discussion are the Native Americans. Now, a quick disclaimer, if you're not interested in any extra information and only want to listen to the clips, I've put some timestamps down below so you can just skip right through it. For those that are interested in the extra information, let's have a look right here. So, historically speaking, in the era before Columbus's arrival in the Americas, there were thought to be over 1,000 Native American civilizations residing within the borders of what we consider today to be the United States. Now, let's have a look at the map. Some of the main Native American tribes include the Cherokee, the Navajo, the Sioux, Chippewa, Crow, Iroquois, Apache, and Comanche. There were many tribes, but the Comanche were considered to be the most powerful tribe in Native American history, and we're going to hear Shane talk a lot about the Comanches today. Another interesting fact is that there were more than 300 languages being spoken amongst the Native Americans all throughout the United States. If we're taking a look at the stats, it has been estimated that the European settlers have killed more than 56 million people over the span of 100 years. That is including South, Central, and North America altogether. Another cool fact is that ancestral Native Americans were very closely related to ancient Paleo-Siberians. This is because of the immigration across the Bering Strait. Now, without further ado, let's get to the video.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So, these 4 dudes get captured by these Indians. They take them and they make them run the gauntlet. So that was one thing they would do when they would capture prisoners. A lot of these tribes would make you run a gauntlet like right away. So the whole town would come to the bank of this river with these 2 dudes they captured on canoes.
Yeah.
And one of them, by the way, Stark, in the Revolutionary War would come up with the term "live free or die." Pretty sick. Yeah. He was that. I mean, this is how small a world this was back then.
Shout out.
Oh yeah, true.
Shout out.
Well, Mary, you missed it. God damn it, dude, you're fired. Wait, how did you? Would you doze off?
Huh?
Yeah, I fell asleep.
He's not paying attention.
I'm paying attention.
He's paying attention. He couldn't know I was doing a physical. He doesn't know my comedy's verbal and physical, dude. Physical comedy, dude. Welcome. So they did.
So the whole town comes
What's the
out.
gauntlet?
Gauntlet is where the townspeople, mostly young men, line up 2 rows and make you run the gauntlet.
Oh, they're making.
And they hit you with sticks and fuck with you the whole way.
I thought they were. So you get caught by the Indians, they'd make you do a gauntlet.
Yeah, the Indians would make you run the gauntlet.
Did we have a gauntlet?
As a prisoner. No.
I mean, not we, but they're like, did fucking.
Yeah, did the good guys? Did the good guys have
Did
it?
the settlers have a fucking gauntlet?
No, I think they probably just
Killed you.
executed Indians, I'm sure.
So you had to run through.
Yeah, they handed you a stick that you had to hold, so
Okay.
you couldn't like block. You had to like hold a stick and run through a gauntlet, and they would all just hit you. Now they tried not to hurt you. They tried not to kill you. I mean,
They want to.
they just want to hurt you. They want to fuck you up. But the Indian who captured them, who was the chief of this tribe, told them some things to say.
Yeah.
In their language that would like make it easier on them, which actually translated to like, I could fuck up everybody in here. Hilarious. So the first guy ran through and was like, Tahini Gaba hop up to get on, like he just screamed
talking shit.
He had no idea.
And they're just fucking cradling the crossballs.
Dude.
Just like, what you?
The second guy came through and his chant was, I could fuck all the women here. Like while he's running through, and then he started getting hit hard enough that he started fighting the gauntlet. He dropped the stick and just started swinging, and they let him go. They were like, "All right, hilarious. We're not going to hit him anymore."
Oh, he's also probably crying, be like, "I can fuck all the girls in here, please,
just running through like,
please let me
fuck anybody here.
Please let me fuck all the girls in here, please,
Yeah.
for the love of God."
So I was wrong on that part. The Indians were funny.
That's fucking
Obviously,
hilarious,
that guy in
dude.
the canoe was like, "Here's, I'll hook you up.
Oh,
This is gonna make things a lot easier. Just yell, I'm gonna fuck all the women in here." Hilarious. That's. I mean, that holds up today. That joke. That's a good bit.
it's pretty good.
That's a good bit by that Algonquin.
Oh, that's pretty fucking funny. How fun would it be to have a gauntlet too? This is the thing. Like
We did it in high school.
I know.
Gauntlet rules.
Yeah, this is what people do,
Yeah, it's an instinctive thing to make people run through a gauntlet.
and just fuck them up.
Just slap them the whole way. But yeah, then they did get a little mean.
Yeah.
After that, so some of these tribes would have like you go cabin to cabin when you're getting indoctrinated, basically as tortured, like into being a prisoner. You get
Hazed.
get hazed into it, which is like you go to this cabin, somebody will pluck a fingernail out. You go to the next cabin, someone will bite your finger off. Someone will just gnaw your finger off. One of the cabins was just one of the women just beat the shit out of you. You couldn't hit back. She just beat you as hard as she could the whole time.
Really?
Dude, it was
Did they cut your finger off yet?
Eventually, yeah. This is usually, and then there's some cabins where it's just little kids and they stab you a little, just light stabbings,
man.
And then eventually, I think a lot of them would scalp you and then pour boiling water on where they just scalped you, which
it's hot too. It's fresh off the fire.
Yeah,
too.
and then just make you roll in like thorn bushes. They're just doing like really mean shit to people.
So you had to go get the aggro crap. This is Global Guts.
Oh, you got crushed. You got fucking crushed. But the Indians, a lot of these tribes. So that's another thing that is annoying. Obviously, I've said it 1,000 times. When people talk about Indians in America, they're always like the Indians, like it's one group. These are just some northeastern woodland tribes I'm talking about here.
Exactly.
Obviously, it fluctuates.
Yeah.
But
read up if you don't know about them.
Some of the, they also. They all like loved being able to take pain. That was like their big fucking thing. Like if you, like if your mom cried while giving birth to you, everybody in the tribe was like, "You're a fucking fag."
Really?
Like that was that stayed with you. So even moms had to be like tough as fuck the whole time, like wild shit. And
so it's possible. It's possible for women to give birth, not even just like
naturally,
even just kind of like they complain.
Not allowed to complain, dude.
Crazy. So it's possible.
The tribes had some good ideas, dude.
I'm just curious.
They had basically a quit you policy to women.
It's like knock off.
Quit your bitching, dude. Or your kid's gay.
So it is possible to, maybe, it doesn't, you don't have to fucking harp on it forever. Oh, go on. Sorry, please. Totally unrelated.
Also, one that made me laugh was one of these Indians, like, recorded how British people acted when they got hurt, which was, wah, wah. Like, that's literally how, like, when we scalp them, they just go, wah, wah.
Me hair.
Oh, you got me hair then. Oh, no.
So that's where the powdered wigs came from. They would go to scalp you, the powdered wing would slide off, and you'd just be like, and just pop off.
I wonder if powdered wigs were treated like black ladies' weaves.
Were they getting a fight?
If you touch them.
They would get two guys get a fight in the Senate. There'd just be like pieces of powdered wig everywhere.
Anyway, so that was
that's funny.
It's been fun stuff reading up on that.
So the gauntlet, though. So at the end, after a guy bit your finger off,
I mean,
a woman dominatrixed you, and then a little kid fucking needled you. What would happen? They would just be like, oh, like a roller coaster. Like, here's our impression of you being a pussy about this.
Pretty much. But there was also examples of dudes getting tortured and like laughing and making fun of the Indians. At which point, a lot of the Indians would kind of like let them live.
Like you roll.
Be like, yo, you're tough. Or another thing they would adopt. They adopted a lot because a lot of these tribes were like sustenance farming and shit like that, where they didn't have a lot of manpower, especially at this point with the colonists there. So they would just take dudes in.
Yeah, but
like, you're one of us now.
Bite your finger off first.
Like, bite your finger off and be like, all right, you can stay. There was one guy got adopted and was like literally from that. Oh, dude, he got adopted by a dude slowly just because he obviously couldn't speak the fucking language. So he sat down and an old dude in a cabin started plucking his hair out. Like he likened it to like a bird, like a turkey, like just ripping the feathers out. This dude started ripping all his hair out and left a patch in the front. And he didn't realize it at the time, but he was giving him their haircut. That's how they cut hair. Barbershop in the tribe was rough, dude.
So he gave him the number 4 on the wall.
Yeah, he just ripped it straight out. Just an old dude ripping your hair out. And then the chief came in and was like, you're one of us now. And he was like, literally from that day, no one in that tribe treated me remotely different. Like, all it took was the chief being like, he's one of us. And everyone was like, sup?
Sup, bro?
That was it.
Well, dude, also, too, it's like, I was trying to be like, well, could I be friends with people who bit my finger off and had their wife beat me up and yelled at me? It's like, imagine where they're like, all right, dude, we're going to let you loose. Now my other option is to live in the woods.
Yeah.
And first, just doing that alone without people who are going to bite my finger off and imprison me.
Yeah.
Just if there's anybody, they could be so mean to me and be like, no, but you're still part of the thing. I'd be like, thank you. Just thanks for not letting me fucking starve to death next to a creek.
One guy got adopted and he was like a slave and he was doing like farm work, and eventually he like threw his hoe into the river and was like, this is for women. And all the Indians were like, sick, this guy's awesome. We're gonna let him free. So the Indians did have cool fucking codes. He risked his life to be like, this is chick work.
This is girl work.
They were like, you're right, that's chick work, dude. Go home.
You passed the test.
Yeah, and also that
would be sick at the Last Samurai, the final test, and be like, "This is fucking gay," and they're like, "Congratulations,
this is gay, are you? You're free, are you?" But they
too many minds. He's like, everything's fucking gay. Everything's fucking gay. They're like, yes, he's learning.
Yes, he's learning our ways.
That's fucking sick, dude. The
Yeah,
guy was
Indians
like, fucking girls.
Yeah, he threw his hoe into the river, and they were all like, "This is good,
Respect.
very good."
Hilarious. There had to have been white guys out there that bit other white guys' fingers eventually.
He came home and started biting fingers.
No, I'm saying like,
"What are you doing, dude?" Like, it's how you become a tribe. Biting fingers off that's like the third or fourth reference they've made to it. So
Sebastian Younger left that out.
Safe to say that some of the natives were munching fingers hard.
For sure.
Gnawing your finger off.
Just an old gotcha. Just like, let me see your finger. Close your eyes. Bite your finger off. Like,
Gotcha. Got your finger.
Oh man. No, I'm saying I wondered if any settlers joined. Because a lot of those dudes stayed with the tribes. Even people who ran away from settlements, they stayed with the tribe. I wonder if there had to have been someone who bit someone like John Smith's third cousin. Definitely probably bit someone's finger off.
Yeah, I'm sure. If you hang around that culture long enough, you're gonna nibble a finger.
Well, it's also funny too. Like if so, like they have adopted like European dudes. So you're just like running. You're in the gauntlet. All of a sudden, you come to the next tent with a white dude in it, and you're like, dude, this shit's fucked up. And he's like,
yeah.
Ah!
He's like, I know, it's fucking. Let me see your hand real quick. It's crazy. He holds up a hand. He's like, me too. But yeah, then they also, Robert Rogers, who the book's about, wrote down that he was like, there's also literally zero wealth disparity. Like, everybody is the exact, like, you're not allowed to do anything if your neighbor's poor. You got to help them.
Yeah.
Which, good quality.
Mm.
I think it's easy to be that when you guys are all living in fucking tents, though.
Sure.
Yeah. It's pretty easy to be spreading the wealth when there's zero wealth.
Yeah, or it was also really physical back then, too. Like, you would be like, there wasn't like like Bitcoins and fiat currency. It was like, you have 6 goats, some guy has 2, and you're like, here, dude, have 2 fucking goats.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It's like, here, bro, have a fucking pelt.
Yeah, so they did have good shit.
I think they used to also do a thing where they would, whoever had the most stuff would burn all their shit. Well, it was they had little. I forget who it was, but they'd have a thing where like the dude at the top was ceremonially would just like get rid of all of his shit.
That's like Bill Gates giving to charity.
True.
It's pretty much what we do.
Yeah, they would back then. The Native Americans would give away like a large proceeding of all the stuff they had, then secretly develop a little shot based on your genetics.
Simon Kenton, the author of The Frontiersman, was a captive of the Native Americans. In his book, he describes what it was like running the gauntlet. Running nearly half a mile between 2 endless lines of natives, women and children armed with sticks, powerful men with clubs, all waiting to strike, with some of them throwing rocks. Often, captives were stripped naked to avoid having even a thin layer of protection. Falling to the ground meant relentless beating until they rose again or were sent back to start over. Many didn't survive. Those who did often emerged with broken bones, even cracked skulls. If you survived the gauntlet, showing great stamina or prowess, you might be adopted into the tribe. Otherwise, you would be enslaved or killed in a horrific way, like being burned at the stake. Contrary to popular belief, the gauntlet wasn't unique to Native American tribes. It has been a form of punishment worldwide for centuries, used by ancient Romans and the British Royal Navy alike. It has even been said that George Washington himself employed the gauntlet to discipline deserting soldiers in 1777. Now, let's have a listen to the most fearsome tribe of them all, the Comanches. Stay tuned as Shane explains why this tribe became the most legendary of them all.
I'll tell you what, speaking of somebody who stepped their game up, dude.
Yeah.
The Comanche.
True.
Bro, so Rogies posted something on Instagram yesterday about it. So I immediately downloaded the book and listened to it. I'm like halfway through it already. Did a lot of driving last night.
Yeah.
Bro, the Comanche were, you want to talk about some bad hombres?
Were they really?
Bro, every time I listen to people talk about, it's crazy. If you do any research into actually what Native Americans were doing, it's nuts. Dude.
Well, the Celtics were who were
the Celts were fucking.
Celts were here before Native Americans were gone.
No, the Celts were actually even mentioned in the book as also being complete savages.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a pretty simple explanation for why Native Americans were fucking fired up, rowdy boys.
Yeah.
They got agriculture about 4,000 years after Africa and Asia, and therefore Europe. So they were on the exact same trajectory historically. Like they just started building pyramids, they just started getting societies, but they were 4,000 years late.
Gotcha.
And then they run into colonists.
True. Yeah.
So that's what was really interesting about it was they were hunter gatherers. They were from the fucking Stone Age.
Yeah.
Running into today, essentially today. It was like 1800s.
Future men.
Yeah. So then you'd run into this tribe of dudes that were living like cavemen.
Yeah.
And they'd be rowdy, dude. Obviously, they're going to fucking throw shit at you.
The T levels are high.
T levels are out of this world.
I mean, dude, I was, up until a certain age, if I went to a movie theater, I would throw shit at people. Like, I would sit in the back and throw candy at the screen. Like, pretty recently.
Yeah, that's actually very funny.
You sit in the
you
back.
can get a gummy bear stuck on there?
Oh,
come
dude.
on.
Or if you sit in the back, and as soon as it goes all dark, you just go, boom, and you wheel, it goes, bap, and you hear it just go, pop, 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 pop.
I would always try to fart as loud as I could at the quiet parts in a movie.
That's the
like, if you
best,
can
dude.
anticipate a silent part.
Dude, it's the best.
That's very Comanche of you.
That
pretty
is
much Comanche.
enemy of everybody, dude. I've been enemy of everyone.
Lord
for
of
a
the
long
Plains.
time.
Lord of the Plains.
Dude.
Bro, let me break this down
break
for
down
you.
the Comanche.
The Comanche fucking rule. They absolutely rule. They're ugly, short, shitty people that everybody crushed. So they came over, historically on the land bridge. That's where, how all people came to North America.
The Bering Strait?
Yeah. So they were up there.
Go on.
So they were... So they were up in the Rockies. They were up in the mountains. And then just forever they had been pushed down because they sucked.
Yeah.
Comanches, of everybody, were like... Even amongst other tribes, they were known for their bad hygiene. They sucked. They were short. They never, So we see like the Northeast Native Americans is like, that's like what's on.
Yeah.
That's what you see is like these tall, slender, fucking athletic, sinewy, long motherfuckers.
Yeah.
These people were like more like Mongolians.
Really?
They're like short, squat, fucking brown.
Yeah.
Like fuckers.
Like Eskimos almost.
They looked, yeah, exactly. But
I didn't know that.
They were losing.
Comanches were like
No,
jacked,
Comanches
ripped,
were not
like
jacked. Dude.
Jesus bodies.
No, they were lads.
Really?
Comanches were pure lads, dude.
What?
And they were getting rocked by everybody until the Spanish came.
Mm-hmm.
Spanish, fucked around and introduced horses to North America. Horses were never there.
Yeah.
So all these different tribes got horses, and I think the Apache were munching them. The Apache weren't sure what to do with them, so the Apache were just crushing horses.
They're munching, yeah.
They were munching horses.
They're chopping them up.
That was good eating for a little while until the Comanche, those old fucking pussies that everybody beat up forever, just somehow got so good at using horses, like best horsemen in the world.
I mean,
and
dude,
then just
if you want to go for the Mongolian theory, that's
exactly what it was like.
That's
and then they just let it rain on everybody, dude.
Oh, after getting just shit on constantly.
And not like they were even like there was no half of it was just for vengeance, like this for ancient vengeance. For like 1,000 years, they were just like fuck these people, and just Comanche. They didn't build cities. They were nomadic. They just went around, and if you somehow came into the middle of the country, you got fucked up. And not just like oh you got it was their rules to torture everybody to death. If there were women, they would gang rape them and then torture them to death.
Jesus,
dude, they took this one lady as a slave, and white slave, and they white slavery, and
should have a little scoreboard every white slave on the crossface.
What's that about 18 million to 1? All right, here we go now. A little comeback, little rally caps. Here we go now. How about a little chatter over there? How about a little chatter in the dugout, whites? But this lady, she was pregnant when she was captured. As soon as she gave birth, Wait,
the white lady?
Yeah. She's in it.
2.
True, technically that was 2.
2.
Boom. Got another one. This was a quick one, though.
Yeah.
So she gave birth to this child. I think it was 7 weeks old when 6 Comanche men walked into the room, strangled it to death, but it lived. They put it back. They strangled it till they thought it was dead, put it back in her arms, like gave it to her like motherfuckers, and then it started moving. So they tied it to the back of a horse and rode it through cacti till it was ripped apart.
The name Comanche comes from a native word that loosely translates to enemy or anyone who wants to fight me all the time. The Comanches were relentless in their immigration down south. They left a whole trail of displaced other tribes, with their most famous adversaries being the Apaches. It has been estimated that the Comanche population ranged between 7 and 30,000 individuals. They had a simple economy which revolved around buffalo. They used buffalo products for robes, teepee covers, and even water carriers, which they made from the animal's stomach. The Comanche were among the first tribes to acquire horses from the Spanish, and they became one of the only tribes to breed them. Their mastery of horseback warfare was unprecedented among other Indian tribes, which gave them a significant advantage. Their raids for material goods, horses, and captives extended as far as present-day Mexico. In 1865, the Comanches signed a peace treaty with the United States. The US failed to honor the treaty, and by 1867, hostilities had resumed. It was said that the US government was unable to keep squatters off of the Promised Land. This led to some of the most violent encounters between the US and the Comanche.
They were
Christ.
wild, dude.
Yeah.
And like again, there's no redeeming. Like the book tries to be like, well, they sang at night and they loved pranks, which was funny to be like, oh, they were dickheads when they were by themselves, which is really funny. But they were also the meanest.
Yeah.
Comanche were mean little dickheads.
Nasty.
It's fun to listen to. It's a really good book.
Damn, dude, that's pretty tough.
Yeah. Praise Rogies for recommending.
I read some of his posts, dude. He was in the sauna just bugging out on Comanches and being like, dude,
It is a fucking like. It's
sick.
wild to read.
I mean, dude, the idea of Rogan in a thing, meditating and just being like a Comanche on a horse.
Bro, he must have connected with the Comanches so much, dude. Little short, tiny guys fucking riding horses.
True, dude.
Crushing people.
That's probably why he's going to. Is the Comanches around Texas?
Yeah, true.
He might be being called.
True. He might be called by that Comanche moon. Dude, I'm so fired up on Comanche right now.
Yeah.
They ride. They were the ones who would like ride on the side of the horse when they were in battles. You know what I mean? Where you ride on the side and shoot. Dude, they fucking ruled.
Fuck, man.
And all they were about was raping.
That's the Mongolian blood.
They were just torturous rapers, dude.
That's the Mongolian.
And everyone's like, no, Native Americans were great warriors. It's like, dude, they gang raped prisoners and tortured them.
Yeah, I mean, it would be like if you went to like the whatchamacallit, like the Celtic tribes in like Ireland and other words. It was the same party going on.
Yeah, dude, just 1,000 years before.
Celtic tribes thought they were from hell. Like they conceptualized heaven and hell, and they're like, yeah, we're from hell.
We're the bad guys.
Like we're from hell, and their day started. It was some kind of weird thing where like their day was reversed. I mean, not like I know kind of the day starts at midnight, but it was something like that.
So they're on my clock. I'm still on that Celtic.
Something like that, yeah. Where they were
just
kind of
munch dinner right away. Just wake up and eat like a chicken parm sub.
Yeah, when you were born, they would just cry for you. They'd be like, "Oh, dude, it sucks." And when you die, they'd be like, "Fuck yeah, dude,
get out of here,
back in the nether realm." So
that's
yeah, dude,
cool.
they were like nasty motherfuckers, man.
Yeah, the Comanche, Matt.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, dude, there's literature that says they try to claim the Celts were the Native Americans. It's pretty funny. It's a pretty
really?
That's like Irish spazzing.
I like that.
No, we're Native.
We're actually
Irish
slaves and Native Americans, and we're hammered.
Yeah.
No, but it does do the thing where it also was interesting is in the book they're like, look, if you want to talk about people's statues getting torn down, you see a Native American chief statue, you could pretty much count that guy first off had slaves and then also led like war parties that raped whoever they caught and tortured.
Really? It said that in the book?
Yeah, I was like, damn, dude, this guy's going hard. What is this?
Damn.
Must have been early in time when this guy wrote. I don't know when the book was written.
Yeah.
He better not have written that recently, or he's out of here. I don't like it.
Yeah, man, he can't be talking.
But
about
it was a fucking
Native American statues.
You brought up the Celts though.
Did he?
Yeah, in the book. Yeah, he was like they were that. They were the people that like when the Romans came up to England, they were like, who the fuck are these dudes?
What the fuck is this?
Who are these retarded guys? Sick fucking book though. Definitely recommend. It's way better than War on the Run.
I gotta peep that out.
War on the Run's like the one I'm reading about Robert Rogers.
Yeah.
It's the most listening to. Pardon me.
Same thing.
No, very different. Very different.
Having information go through the ether and into your brain.
Pardon me.
It actually might be audiobooks might be better.
I don't think they are.
I think
I'll forget people's names and have to rewind 30 seconds to try to get the name again.
I have laser focused.
There's
attention.
no chance you do, dude.
I have like laser focused attention.
There's no chance, dude.
No, it's crazy. It's unbelievable how well I retain information.
I
don't really retain information. I store it all in the ether. No,
you want to derail my awesome Comanche talk?
No, I'm not derailing it.
It's too late.
We were talking audiobooks.
I kind of forget the Comanche talk now. I had some other good points.
It's in the field. It's in the ether. You have to channel it. Any idea you ever have?
Oh, they did the same thing as. So I was reading I was listening to fucking War on the Run, and it's very dry. It's very like they left camp with 3 satchels of blueberries, 6 gunpowder sacks.
Count me out.
It's a lot. It's a lot to listen to. But then this one's just purely like, they did the same thing though. The lady who was a slave to the Comanche, she beat the fuck out of the one lady, and the Apaches or the Comanches just surrounded her and were like, sick. And then she beat the shit out of the old lady who was also her master, and they were all like, all right, you're pretty chill. You can come hang out with us. Dude, they did have that. That's like a common string. Like, if you were a Native American slave, all you had to do was while out.
So you're saying if I were ever...
You had to risk the worst torture known to man.
I was about to say, yeah. So I wonder... So if I ever somehow... And again, I don't think this would happen to me if I got lost on the reservation, but if someone else
If they get you.
If I was to be accosted on the reservation...
If you get hammered at a casino...
I should just start fighting people.
If you're at a casino and you know the lights start disorienting
like the Mohegan
you,
Sun, yeah.
And then you get captured. You can get captured.
You could technically get captured.
Yeah, bring you downstairs.
True. So I should just start swinging.
You should immediately swing. And if you're at a casino and you're drunk and you happen upon a security guard, swing upon him. Dude. They'll do nothing but respect it.
Like, dude, you rule.
That's awesome.
Here's 500 in chips. Get back out there.
Like, you're one of us now.
I knew my bus driver's son hung out on an Indian reservation, and I used to always want to go there.
Really? I heard they were dumps.
Really? Nah.
Yes.
Our bus driver told us that his son was dating an Indian chick with huge tits, and I was like, damn it. He's like, yeah, they go all there.
Fucking bus drivers rule.
Smoke weed on the reservation all day. He's like, my son has it made. His girlfriend has big tits. She's a Native American. I was just like, fuck yeah, dude.
Bro.
Back in your story. A
lot of people don't think about this. So when we kicked it, it's another thing I'm trying to avoid. The fucking wheeze. Wheeze.
Well, you're talking about winners.
Well, yeah, true. It's hard for me to not associate that.
With winners.
Which was pretty sick. In the beginning of the book, they're talking about, so the Spanish, look, I'm going to get in my bag here. The Spanish were there.
Yeah.
The French were there.
Spanish were kind of running things, weren't they?
Spanish ran shit forever from like 15 to
16.
17.
Really?
Yeah. French were popping off down there too. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, I think that's what Cinco de Mayo is about. It's a victory over the French.
That's good.
Surprising,
That's
right?
why I celebrate that.
Jamie, check that out for me.
Cinco de Mayo's French got into Mexico?
I believe it's over the French.
I feel like the French couldn't handle Mexico.
They didn't.
The lads must have pwned them.
The lads were like, damn, you guys, you want to talk lazy? Bring out some Frenchmen.
Yeah.
So.
Confirmed.
Thank you very much, Lemire.
Confirmed.
Kill confirmed. I suppose it's been confirmed, yes. So the Spanish were in there, but the Spanish had they had conquered everything, all of South America, Central America, and then they were slowly making their way north. That's when they ran into the Comanches, or like those native tribes, the Apaches, the Comanches, and shit.
Short Kings.
The Short Kings, the land of the Short Kings, and they started getting massacred and tricked and shit. What was pretty funny is the Apache were all of a sudden, like, there's no record of what the fuck was going on there, other than like you can see migrations of other tribes getting the fuck out of the way from the Comanches, which is pretty cool.
Fuck.
To be like, well, nobody wrote shit down. They were just wandering around in tents, murdering everybody for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Well, not 1,000 because they didn't have horses yet. But all of a sudden there was like a huge influx of Apaches running. Mm-hmm. And they're like, where the fuck are you guys going? The Apaches were like, actually, Spanish, we really like Catholicism. Could you please set up some missions in our territory? And so the Spanish were like, holy fuck, dude, we never thought you guys were going to say yes to this, dude. Wait till you see how awesome Jesus is. We're going to bring up some missionaries. This is going to be fun. And it was actually just a trick for them to put basically embassies in Apacheria, so that when the Comanches came down and definitely murdered and raped everybody, they would kill Spanish people too.
So that
they would go to war with the Comanches. So it was a pretty funny trick from the Short King Apaches.
Yeah.
But what was nice about it was talking about the settlers. That's how America colonized it. Mm-hmm. Like, Spain went in with like missionaries, forts, very governmental, regimented, in intrusion into the land. The Americans just sent people.
Like, dudes.
Like, literally were just like, no forts, no missions, just like people just building houses.
Go check that out.
Which, ironically, so the Mexicans invited settlers into Texas.
Yeah.
Which, eventually the settlers just took Texas.
Yeah.
But the reason they invited them there was to get a buffer zone between them and the Comanches.
Really?
So originally the Mexicans, which you hear people today be like, the Mexican-American War, it was another act of aggression from America where we took their land. Those fuckers invited us there so that we could be fed to the Comanche so they would stop fucking with the Mexicans.
Really?
And it ended up that the Americans were kind of rootin' tootin'.
True. They're slim.
They were like, bro, we'll fucking chill here. Well, we get raped and murdered every couple years?
Whatever.
Sick.
Texas fucking rules.
Texas does rule. That's when it became a republic, bro.
Really?
It's fucking sick.
So they fought off they were like, they buffered, and then they probably figured it out, and were like,
well, yeah,
or
that
they
was,
didn't, or they were just
no,
like,
they figured it out. They figured it out. And, well, yeah, they kind of tamed the land a little, and then the Mexicans were like, why don't you give us that land back?
Yeah.
Like, why don't you come fucking take it?
True.
That's where that flag's from.
Yeah.
I think. Then the Alamo happened, which was a huge mistake.
Does the Texas flag say it's like, fuck off, Mexico?
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, that was a funny thing watching Hell or High Water, that you start to think about how that you really had. It's like, and then these colonizers came. It's like, no, they kind of, white people threw they threw poor white people at the problem. Rich white people threw poor white people at the problem, and were like, here, go figure this out.
Yeah.
And then,
really, and that's what they're banking on, and that's what was cool in the book. It literally addresses like, the American approach to colonizing was like hope. Like they'd just be like, here's some dude that's just land hungry that lives in Boston. That's like, I gotta get my family the fuck out of here. Yeah, we're going to the plains. they get burned alive. But it's pretty neat.
It's also funny too how that still kind of goes. So you get the rich people who are like, yeah, man, we got a good deal for you. Go out there and do that thing.
Also, by the way, the blood meridians, not exaggerating. That's what I'm talking about. Level of, that's what that book's about.
Of what they're up to?
Hunting Comanches.
Really?
Yes. That book, all those atrocities throughout that book, and like how horrendous the land was. Yeah. It's real. I thought that, I was like, man, this guy's really exaggerating, like jerking off to violence. No, dude. That was fairly similar to like the actual historical accounts of it. Pretty crazy.
What year was that?
Now, I know you guys listen to this for comedy, but boy, do I love Comanches.
So that's all as far as the podcast goes for today. But if you want some extra information, make sure to stick around. So Cinco de Mayo marks Mexico's victory at the Battle of Puebla in 1862 against the Second French Empire, which was ruled by Napoleon III. As for the colonization of Texas, to boost the non-native population and to create a buffer zone against hostile tribes, Spain started recruiting empresarios. So basically, empresarios were land agents who brought settlers to Texas in exchange for huge amounts of land. One notable empresario was Moses Austin, who sought permission to settle 300 English-speaking settlers in Texas. Now, an interesting fact about Moses Austin is that his son, Stephen F. Austin, carried on his father's legacy. He was known as the father of Texas, and the city of Austin was named after him. Spanish missionaries and American settlers had vastly different experiences. The Spanish missionaries served the crown, while American colonists enjoyed much more freedom, governing themselves under English law. This freedom amongst the American settlers led to less organizations, which eventually led to more casualties as well. But it also planted the seeds for independence, which eventually led them to break away from the king and create their own nation. As always, check out the links to Man and Shane's Secret Podcast and their social down below, and make sure to show them some love. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more comedic tales from history.